my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all its beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning.
Been in here and people are roaring with laughter, so.
It's a dirty show, though.
Well, it's clean dirt.
You have here the best of the best.
Yes.
So we have many celebrities here. The Harley Madison come over here, and the Usher come over here many often, and the Paris Hilton come here.
Boy, I'm dating myself, but it's okay. Nobody else will. Oh.
That's so Vegas.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all, not one bill. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
Welcome to That's So Vegas TV. I'm your host, Christina Keller, here in the fabulous Las Vegas Arts District, downtown Las Vegas. I have a phenomenal guest here today, Helene Neville, #1 on the run. You are just an amazing woman. You recently came back to Westgate Hotel here in Las Vegas, which had been a starting point for you for a marathon journey. In your shoes, on the road, running across America. You're a grandmother, cancer survivor. I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to turn a little bit of this over to you. Helene, please tell us, how did you begin this whole career of running? It's more a passion than a career.
Yeah.
But tell us, please. I know there was a cancer scare, and then...
That was in the 90s, and I started running marathons, and I actually became a little bored from marathons, and I finally sat down in 2010. I was going to turn 50, and I decided I was going to write a book for nurses to give back to nurses, and a fitness book. And I did that. And then I kind of came up with, how can I get this message into the hands of nurses? And I thought, what if I just run across America and stop at every hospital? They'd have to take me seriously.
Goodness.
So that's what I did. And it started out as a journey to really inspire people to become healthier, and maybe nurses to become better ambassadors for healthy living, and then inspire that back into the community.
Now, by giving back to nurses, how long were you a nurse?
I still have a license. I'm still a nurse. I don't know, 32 years maybe.
Right. Were you in general?
Everything, med-surg, and then I worked public health for a while and things like that. And
you've been affiliated with the CDC, isn't that correct?
FEMA, through the public health, different contracts that were statewide, whether it was HIV, STD, surveillance, things like that. I even inspected tattoo parlors for a while.
that had to have been interesting.
Yeah, it was, you know. It was fun.
So as a nurse, then, was it kind of a shock to you when you had, now from what I understand, you've had 4 instances of cancer, and you actually ran with a port in your chest.
Well, the port in my chest was, I did the Rocky Steps in Philadelphia. I went up and down the steps for 16 miles. And prior to that, I ran 10 miles to actually get to the steps. And then I was doing this Marathon of Love, which I created. I've been carrying my brother's urn. He passed away in 2013. I carried him on the run. I was going to bring him home, and I sort of celebrated with a marathon. I spread some of his ashes at our childhood home and then ran to the steps and went up and down. The steps are symbolic of the underdog, and that's me. And I had an intention of leaving him there and putting him in the ground with my mom, but he's still here.
He wanted to continue the journey with you.
I had to take him. There were more states to do. So.
Right.
I don't know how I'm going to get him to, I hope to do Alaska and Hawaii for the 49th and 50th. So I guess he'll be going to those states too.
So you would need sponsors, I would have presumed, for that.
For sure. Yeah. It's going to be costly a little bit for just for the support on the road. But I haven't had that for these other 5 segments of the run. But when I started the run in 2010, it became much bigger than just nurses. And, you know, as a nurse, you never want to find yourself on the other side of the bed. And I did. And nurses are great, and we're on the front lines of life. You know, the only career path that it's from birth to death, that there's, you know, that's our job. We're right there. So
That makes sense. I have some dear friends who are nurses as well. A couple have retired recently, but I've always had nothing but admiration
yeah,
for them.
me
And
too.
the unsung heroes,
Definitely.
truly. So your cancer was a curable.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah.
Just it kind of rears its ugly head, and I don't know if you're truly cured from cancer. You can keep it at bay, and so it doesn't brew again and again. And I try to eat healthy and just live healthy.
Right. So how do you do that when you're running across the United States? Or now, how did you do that? Did you go directly across? Did you go state to state? Did you go around? What was your first?
Well, the first one was California to Florida in 93 days. It was 2,520 miles. So that was literally like a marathon a day, and sometimes more.
So how many hours would you run a day?
6 to 8 to sometimes 12. A couple days I did 50 miles.
Did you eat as you ran, and were there people there? How did you get the people to give you water?
The first run, I carried everything I needed to survive for that day on my back.
On your back.
And we did have an old, kind of a dilapidated RV that we used, and a driver that just literally dropped me on the interstate, and then they would go ahead, set up camp, hopefully, and I would run all day until I got there.
Wow, how did people respond to that driving by? Were they aware of, did you have a banner? I mean,
No,
it's
and people were
there
really
you were,
shocked
just running?
because I'm completely covered, and I look like a beekeeper. I have everything's covered for sun protection.
Oh, I see, right.
And all they see is this face and neck covered in red lipstick, I don't know, and sunglasses. And I go against traffic, so I think they're pretty shocked. But
well, as time progresses, I imagine, I know that being in media, that we got press releases that you were, when you left the West Gate and when you came back to the West Gate. Now, which leg was that?
Just this past leg that I just finished.
A total of how many miles?
About 3,100 and 147 days, 5 months. I was on the road. Westgate, we had the send-off party, like a Zumba, a fun dance party around their pool. And I left I started in Wyoming, ran to West Virginia and turned around, came back to, obviously, Las Vegas.
Unbelievable.
This last segment, I did it in 5 segments: California to Florida, Canada to Mexico, and I carried my brother's 26-pound urn in my backpack on that run. And then that's when I did it solo, no support at all. Florida to Maine, and then Canada, eastern Maine, to all the way to Washington, the state of Washington.
And along the way, you had people who would put you up for the night or feed you a warm meal.
Yeah,
do
my laundry,
do
whatever.
Your laundry, even those little necessities.
Dye my roots. No. Oh. Okay, I told it all now.
It's good to know, though. You were thoroughly embraced by America.
Yeah, right.
And I can just see you with your bright eyes and your beautiful smile, and there you are drenched in sweat, and you're saying, well, I finished X amount of miles today, and I have so many to go tomorrow.
Right.
I'm going to give a quick shout out to my sponsor. I have to do that.
Yeah,
I love them.
of course.
They keep me on the air, and we're going to come back and talk more about
Okay.
your incredible journey. You've got so much coming up, too, in your life. It's just amazing. The Red Roof Inn on Paradise across from the Hard Rock. They're my sponsor. They're pet friendly. They have free Wi-Fi and free continental breakfast for guests, and they are close to the Strip and Airport. I'll be back with Helene. I always want to say Helen. I have a good friend, Helen, but Helene's just as beautiful. I'll be back with Helene Neville in just a moment. Don't go away. See you in a minute. Well, hey there. Welcome to That's So Vegas. This is our new studio in the famous Las Vegas Arts District, downtown Las Vegas. We're here to rock your world.
was going to ask you how it felt to be breaking good here at the Bellagio for the National Center.
What you did.
Your last CD was My Secret Life. I wanted to ask you what your secrets were. Tune in and turn on with us in downtown Las Vegas. This is where the action is, and that's so Vegas. Welcome back to That's So Vegas TV. I'm your host, Christina Keller. I'm here with Helene Neville. You are the runner extraordinaire, but you're so much more than that. You've been a nurse, you're, goodness, an author, you're on a mission. We talked about that in our first segment. I love your ensemble here. If you could stand up and show everybody, this is what you ran in, or your finish outfit, right? And we have every state that you've run through, is that right?
2 countries.
2 countries.
It's
Wow.
the order of the states, so
Oh.
it's all the states.
In
48
order.
states. A couple of them were twice.
Oh, goodness.
And then on the back,
Sponsors.
some sponsors.
It's amazing. And weren't you telling me a little something on the break that when you were on your birthday in Denver, you
Oh.
ran in your birthday suit?
Yeah, I did. Painted as the American flag.
I love it. Was it a sunny day? Was it rainy?
It was a beautiful day, and I felt so free,
I
which
bet.
is freedom, and my birthday suit put together.
I think it's
So.
lovely. That will be in a documentary film that's
Yes.
coming up,
The
right?
Human Race. It should be out in April
Uh-huh.
of this 2018, and it's
Fabulous.
5 people over the age of 50 that run. So,
Amazing.
and I'm one of the ones featured.
It's hard looking at you to think that you're over 50, but
thanks.
I'll take your word for it. Why
I
would
love
you
you.
lie? You just have that glow. You just really look marvelous.
Oh,
It's got to be
thanks.
the running. And although you did have your battle with cancer, and I think we were talking earlier about what really was touching to you was the feeling of community in the country. So as you're running across, and you really didn't have any support team other than a van that went ahead
Right,
of you.
right.
You carried everything you needed on your back. Tell us about how America embraced you and some of the high points of your journey.
Well, people told me if I had the courage to start that they would look after me, and you know, alone you could go fast, but together as a community you go far. And if you think about that, I ran 12,855 miles across every state, and I only did that. I was only successful because the community did in fact come out and help and put me up in their homes, just loved on me and supported me, fed me, and moved me on safely to the next person. And people always ask, you know, what do you think about when you think about the run? And the only word I can use to describe is beautiful. It was such a beautiful display of humanity. You know, we're one on the run is one, not singular, but we're all one team, one world, and together we could go and do anything we want. Alone you can only go so far, but together we can do everything. And it was just a beautiful display, and people helped, and it's amazing. So the run really was, we were all one on the run, and I made it because of the support I received from our community, which is our country.
Right. Now, were you running rural roads and highways and byways or freeways or?
That's a great question. I tried to stay on the interstate only because it's well groomed, the shoulders are wide, and I go against traffic. But there were quite a few times on some of the segments of the run that, well, actually from Florida to Maine, it was all through the like highway, not the interstate, but just roads, different roads. And so I'm out there kind of all alone.
Did dogs chase you, or we do have our mascot
actually,
here in the
a few
studio.
of them did.
Did you get chased by dogs?
A couple.
Oh goodness, wasn't that kind of scary?
Yeah, I got chased by 3 people too.
Oh no, did you really?
Yeah,
What
but
was
I got
that all
away,
about?
so.
I'm so glad you got away.
But it's just so
Seriously, were
amazing.
you chased by people?
Yes.
I mean, like,
in the first run in Texas, 2 separate times, and but I got away from that before it became anything. And in the 2015 run, 3 people got out of a truck and got their hands on me, but I got away.
Oh, well, we're happy that you did that. Do
Yeah.
you carry mace or anything with you in the event of
Yeah,
something?
well, at that time, people ask me that all the time. What's your weapon? I'm like, here's my lipstick and my business card. That's all I have.
Well, that's...
No, I do carry mace. This time around, I had bear spray that I didn't have to use, but I may have to use it on the next run. I don't know.
And where is your next run now that
I hope to do Alaska and then Hawaii. In Hawaii, I'm going to do a mile a day so I could stay there long.
That's thinking.
But
Yes, in Hawaii, that would be all the islands, 7 islands?
No,
or
I would
6?
just pick Hawaii and run across that. I've been invited formally to Cuba to run the length of Cuba, the only American ever invited, and because I'm one of the Flag for Hope stars. It's pretty prestigious and quite an honor. And the artist that put together that flag is associated with Cuba, and he kind of has been working behind the scenes to get me to get invited to go there. And
that would be lovely. That's one place I haven't been, and I'd love to go.
yeah, I can't wait just to see all the retro cars, really. But I want to go representing all 50 states, my whole country, not just 48. So about a month ago, I really, in my mind, I'm thinking I should continue and just get these last 2. I'm so close, and no one's ever been this close.
And again, you do this by virtue of sponsors, right? This isn't...
No, I sell T-shirts and
you
books.
sell T-shirts and books.
And then, sometimes I'll get an honorarium on the road if I stop and give a speech. But no, I don't have any monetary sponsors. My whole theme is Rethink Impossible, despite age, income,
illness,
questionable
diversity,
health, all of the above, which all of the
certainly.
above apply to me. And that people say, I have a dream, but I can't afford my dream. But yes, you can. I started the 2015 leg of this journey with $200, and I made it all 3,700 miles across the country.
Helene, that's amazing. Really, it is. That's much more even than a leap of faith. That is a tremendous
Definitely.
Amount of faith on your part. But you're driven by your core belief, and
it's just I want to get out there and expose what's right with our country, and there's so much more. The more, I went out trying to find a way to deal with the grief of losing my mom, inspire nurses, inspire cancer patients, and then
your brother.
Yeah, and my brother since 2013. And what I found was a deeper love of my country and people and of myself. And so that drives me to continue and then to tell people about it.
And you're up close and personal. I've been very lucky. I've driven across the United States 3 times. I've driven up and down the coasts of California and Oregon and that, because I'm like you, and I like stopping at those little places that are off the wall, the little tavern in the road, and that's probably where you meet some of the nicest, most real and decent people. I envy you, but I'm going to be able to watch a lot of your exploits. Are you filming on the road on your own, or how do you...
Yeah, film and document.
How do you do that? Do you carry a camera with you, or are you cell phone?
If somebody's out there helping me, we'll document. But
so
each segment, I've written a book, and we're going to have one book with all of the journey.
Everything. This is really wonderful. I love to hear that. I've got to give another shout out. Can you believe how fast this segment went? It's almost like we were racing through it. Again, I love the Red Roof Inn there on Paradise. That was our mascot, Trixie the Labradoodle, interfering in there. She had to come to the studio today. That's okay. She's cute, and we'll put up with her.
She is cute.
Yeah. Don't go away. I'll be right back with Helene Neville, and we're going to talk a little bit more about our America.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. If you think about that, I mean, go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. And there's one thing we're focused on here at St. Jude, and that's beating this thing.
Welcome back to That's So Vegas TV. I'm your host, Christina Keller. I'm here with Helene Neville. We've been having a really good time Love the ensemble, only you could wear it. One country, one on the run, one runner, but you've never been alone. You've been embraced by every state in the United States. You're going to be going to Alaska and Hawaii, hopefully Cuba. You
Yes.
just can't leave any stone unturned.
That's right.
And it's just amazing. A cancer survivor, you're a grandmother as well. You're just amazing. and you don't look any the worse for wear. One thing I found really fascinating is just to bulk up because you needed that. You've fought cancer. You gained how many pounds for the last
Each
one?
segment I gained about 14 pounds.
Whoa.
And that was really hard to do. I think I ate a pound of bacon every day.
No kidding.
But it's for reserves, and because out there solo, you're not sure when your next meal is going to come. And I didn't want to burn muscle. I wanted, obviously, to have fat to burn. And so it's almost a science. I'm down to a science of how long to keep it on, when to start losing. And
Did you have a problem losing it once you determined it was time to take it off?
not really. I still have a few more pounds to go. But
Okay. Maybe in the earlobe.
yeah.
Is this where you're more comfortable at? Is this because you still run? You have to practice, or what do you exercise every day? You run every day?
I like to
keep your
lift and
lift
do lots of extreme exercises.
To keep the muscle mass, right? I can't imagine because when you're running like that. And how did you, when you planned the route, do you try to avoid hills and inclines, or
there was
it's impossible?
There was no avoiding hills in this Middle America tour. The last 12 states I just finished. Every state until Arkansas was a hill. It was,
What about Nebraska? Isn't it flat as a pancake?
Well, I went from north to south and on western side, and it was a hill. And I thought since I was going north to south, maybe it would be downhill, but that wasn't the case.
It wouldn't be the case, would it?
So it was just nonstop hill. It was pretty grueling, this last run.
And I know that you suit up, you cover yourself because you get the exposure to the sun and the elements and things of that nature. Do you really get a good view of like the monuments and the different textures of the countryside?
The landscape is right out there to see, and unlike the speeding cars and trucks, I'm at that pace where I can really enjoy it and smell the different smells. Sometimes not so good, but
the manure.
Just to really go slow enough to embrace how beautiful our land is and the people. And so I love it. I just love it.
And you have not a team, but you have a van, right? You've had people actually along the way drive your van for you.
That's how, imagine that for all those miles. That's what that community spirit has done, and their contribution can never be measured. And I successfully did this run with the help of my community. So the van has all my gear in it. In fact, it has probably close to 3,000 signatures on it. People just signed it. It was like a blank canvas. And we just play leapfrog. I might drive it to the finish line for the day, and somebody follows. I hop in their car, and they drive me back to where I finished the day before. And we plant bottles of water along the way.
Wow.
And so the logistics are mind-boggling and never-ending. Running is the easiest part.
Oh.
It's just the planning and just figuring out where I'm going to eat and sleep and the shelter, all of it.
And that's in the book. You're writing another book?
The book's fabulous. And it's not a running book about toenails lost or how fast I am. It's about our community, our people, and how wonderful everybody is. And the stories are never ending, mesmerizing, tear-jerking or hilarious, but it's really wonderful.
But real.
Real about our real world.
Reality in a book as opposed to reality TV. When will this book be out? In April of 27 or 18?
The documentary comes out the Human Race documentary, April of 2018. The book will probably be followed shortly after, and that will hopefully include, if I can raise the money to go to Alaska and Hawaii.
I think you'll raise the money, definitely.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's One on the Run, that's your website.
Right.
I can't believe that we've run out of time. But I want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
Really,
Thank
this
you.
is just, Your whole story is incredible. It's unique. It's like you are. It's wonderful. It's a beautiful story. And we're happy to help share that with America because that's what this is all about. Again,
One on the Run.
One on the Run. That's your website. And people can
And
find
Facebook
the book.
as well.
And Facebook.
That's
Don't
where all
forget
the
about
action is.
Facebook. That's where the action is. Thanks again. I'll see all of you next week. We have another special guest, a local author, somebody you might want to meet. You never know. We could hook you guys up.
All right.
Okay. Until then, I'm Christine McKellar. My sponsor is Red Roof Inn, and we'll see you next week. I'm Christine McKellar with this week's latest Vegas entertainment updates. Comedy ventriloquist Jeff Dunham is bringing his cast of characters on the road for a new, passively aggressive tour this fall, with a stop at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace on Wednesday, December 6th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $49.50, $69.50, and $79.50. Adam Sandler will be the first exclusive resident comedic performer at the Chelsea Theater in the Cosmopolitan. His series of dates will start on November 17th and January 27th, 2018, with future engagements to be announced. Tickets start at $49. Zach Baggins, who hosts the Travel Channel's Ghost Adventure series, will open his Haunted Museum Monday, October 2nd in the historic downtown Las Vegas district. Visitors will be able to explore his macabre and unusual collection via hour-long guided tours through the 30-room, 11,000 square foot mansion built in 1938. Celebrities roam the Vegas Valley on a daily and nightly basis, visiting many shows and attractions, and they actually flood Las Vegas when an award show or major event happens in the city. For example, just recently, boxing legend Oscar De La Hoya celebrated Fight Week at Topgolf Las Vegas. Ricky Martin, with a night off from his Park Theater at Monte Carlo residency, visited Ka by Cirque du Soleil at MGM Grand with his partner and 2 children. Actor-comedian Marlon Wayans, star of Marlon and White Chicks, recently visited Mike Tyson Undisputed Truth Round 2, the one-man show at Brad Garrett's Comedy Club inside the MGM Grand. Emmy Award-winning illusionist David Copperfield spent his birthday taking in a performance of the Beatles' Love by Cirque du Soleil at the Mirage. Go to VegasOnlyEntertainment.com for more events, details, and dates. Until next week, I'm Christine McKellar, and that's So Vegas.
1, 2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah.